साडा खिरदा पंजाब वालों असी अज खास मुलाकात करन आए हैं सरदार प्रीतम सिंह जी जिन्हां दी अज बुक लॉन्च हुई है। उन्हां बारे कुछ खास गल्लां ते किवें वो बुक दी की आइडिया आया ते किवें की उन्हां दे विचार आए, आओ जानते हैं उन्हां बारे, उन्हां दी ही जुबान। सत श्री अकाल सर।
सत श्री अकाल जी, मेरा नाम प्रीतम सिंह है और खिरदा पंजाब में ਤੁਹਾਡਾ बहुत ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਰਿਵਿਊ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ किताब ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ मेरी लड़की छोटी लड़की ने लिखी है किरणदीप सर। तो इस किताब का एक्चुअली क्या है कि मैं 1959 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਦਫਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਨੇਪਾਲ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੰਮੂ ਕਸ਼ਮੀਰ ਦੇ ਰਹਿਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਜੰਮੂ ਕਸ਼ਮੀਰ ਸਾਰਾ ਹਿੱਲੀ ਇਲਾਕਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ट्रांसपोर्ट मेरा बहुत पिताजी सन भी मतलब ट्रांसपोर्ट लाइन सन तो उन्होंने सानू मतलब पहाड़ी इलाके की खास ड्राइविंग का खास करके बड़ा एक्सपीरियंस भी है और पता भी है। तो जो नवी सड़क जी है इंडिया गवर्नमेंट ने नेपाल गवर्नमेंट बना के दी थी पर बहुत छोटी और बहुत छोटी सड़क सी जिथे कि सिर्फ जीप जा सकती थी। तो उस वक्त असी किस तरीके उत्थे पहुँचे वो तो एक लंबी कहानी है। जिस तरह बोट दो बोट इकट्ठे करके ते पटना शहर गंगा पार की 3-4 दिन लगे। रेलवे लाइन किस तरह पार रेलवे लाइन तो किस तरह से पार है तो मतलब जम्मू तो चल के 5-6 दिन 7 दिन के बाद बार्डर नेपाल का बार्डर है उत्थे पहुँचे और पहुँचे तो बाद उत्थे का जो लोकल कस्टमर से वो ट्रेन तो बाद असी पहुँचे और उत्थे टीमनाथ साड़ी मुलाकात हुई। कोई मुलाकात भी जैसे ट्रांसपोर्ट के बारे करते कि उन्होंने सू बड़ा उत्साह दिता देता और क्या कि तुम काम शुरू करो असी गवर्नमेंट विल ऑलवेज विल हेल्प यू। तो उन्होंने काफ़ी मदद की। तो उसके बाद अभी ट्रांसपोर्ट जी है सब तो पहले ट्रांसपोर्ट कमर्शियल ट्रांसपोर्ट वो असी 1959 मतलब जनवरी के महीने शुरू की थी और काफ़ी दिक्कतें भी रही हैं, काफ़ी मुश्किलों भी रही हैं। उत्थे लोकल आदमी कोई बहुता तो सब लोगों को पसंद नहीं सन करते। अगर सरदार होने के नाते उन्होंने लोग सोचा कि शायद बावे है क्योंकि उत्थे कभी सरदार कोई गया तो है नहीं बावे वर्ग ट्रीट कर लगे। बाद उन्होंने पता लगा कि ट्रांसपोर्ट है तो एक बड़ी लंबी लंबा सफर है जो तय किया है। तो वो सारे सफर में फिर मेरी जो छोटी लड़की है उसने अपनी किताब के राही दसन की कोशिश की है कि कदों अस आए कि हालात रहे खास करके उत्तर गवर्नमेंट के नाल पहले किंग के नाल काफ़ी बड़े अच्छे ताल्लुकात ने। उसके बाद उत्थे डेमोक्रेसी आ गई पर डेमोक्रेसी जो उत्तर के प्राइम मिनिस्टर वगैरह जो भी उत्तर इलैक्टेड गवर्नमेंट से उसके भी बड़े लेकिन यह है कि डिफिकल्ट बड़ा डिफरेंट टैलेंट से जोड़ा मतलब है कि उत्थे किया है और अपनी बहुत सारी साड़ी एक्सीडेंट देखे काफ़ी लोगों की डेथ वगैरह भी हुई काफ़ी कुछ अभी भुगते हैं लेकिन असी अल्टीमेटली असी कामयाब हुए। तो सारी चीज़ को मेरी लड़की ने मेरे कलम बंद किया तो वो किताब जी लिखी गई है वो जो भी जिस तरीके असी पहुँचे जो इस तरह से किया है वो सारा लड़की ने वो कलम बंद किया। मैं उसका बहुत धन्यवादी हाँ। बाकी ये है कि जिंदगी अच्छी है कि उत्थे जाके भी अपने इंडिया का नाम रखा है अपनी कौम का नाम रखा है सिक्खी का नाम रखा है ताकि बंदा कोई बंदा ये ना कह सके कि अच्छे लोग नहीं है खराब लोग। वी हैव रियली मेड ओवर नेम और अपनी कंट्री का नाम भी असी बड़े उच्चे रखा है। साढ़े बड़े नज़दीकी ताल्लुकात इंडियन एम्बेसी जी जो भी एम्बेसडर वगैरह आए हैं उन्होंने सारे बड़े अच्छे साढ़े ताल्लुकात रहे। उसके अलावा फिर असी लोकल बंद भी साढ़े ताल्लुकात थे तो मुझे समझ आए कि सरदार लोग जो है काफ़ी सच बोलने वाले हैं। सो उन्होंने कहने बाद साड़ी काफ़ी मदद की असी उन्होंने बहुत मदद की। उन्होंने कोई ट्रांसपोर्ट का आइडिया नहीं सी ड्राइवर क्लासी 150 साढ़े को बाद ही वही ड्राइव मालिक बने हो ट्रांसपोर्टर बने उन्होंने काफ़ी बड़ी बिजनेस बनाई है। तो जो कुछ ऐसी डेवलपमेंट नेपाल की डेवलपमेंट जर्नी अस करा सकते थे, खास करके जो हाइड्रो प्रोजेक्ट वगैरह बनाए गए उन्हें चैना भी सीमेंट है, सनी है, हैवी मशीनरी है। उस टाइम कोई भी हो जा साधन नहीं सी बड़ी बड़ी जी मशीनरी है उसमें मतलब ट्रांसपोर्ट कर जाए, लेकिन असी किसी तरीके नाल करके तो सारी मशीनरी वगैरह जी उत्तर पहुँचाई। क्योंकि बड़े जोड़े हाइडल प्रोजेक्ट हैं बहुत दूर दराज इलाके काठमांडू तो भी 40-50 किलोमीटर हो लगे पहाड़ों में जगह जितने गड्डी का जाना ट्रक का जाना बहुत मुश्किल से, पर चूँकि साढ़े को जम्मू कश्मीर के ड्राइवर सन बड़े एक्सपीरियंस ड्राइवर सन पहाड़ा के उन्होंने करके सारा कुछ कर सके। फिर हमें ऐसी धन्यवादियाँ नेपाल के जिन्होंने साड़ी काफ़ी बड़ी मदद की और साढ़ा बड़ा मतलब अच्छा रिश्ता रखा। असी भी उन्होंने जिन्ना असी कर सकते किया। कर्म भूमि तो साड़ी इंडिया ही है, लेकिन जन्म भूमि साड़ी इंडिया है, पर कर्म भूमि क्योंकि सारा कुछ जिंदगी असी नेपाल ही गुजारी है, सारी कर्म भूमि जी है वो नेपाल ही है।
फस्ट ऑफ ऑल मैं बहुत धन्यवादी हाँ थोड़े न्यूज़ चैनल के सारे साढ़े व्यूअर्स जो सानू देख रहे हैं। रोज टू द वैली एक स्टोरी है कि एक सरदार जो जम्मू कश्मीर के सगे असी पहाड़ी सरदार है कि उसके बाद पहाड़ा तो निकल के फिर असी नेपाल के पहाड़ा में चले गए और उत्थे नेपाल की जमीन विच एक सरदार ने की डेवलपमेंट सोशल इकोनॉमिक एंड कल्चरली कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशनस की इस दे बारे विच लिखना बड़ा जरूरी सी। क्यों? क्योंकि कई बारी ये स्टोरीज होंगी हैं दुनिया नू असी मेरे सरदार साहब के बारे बड़े लोगों को पता है जिन्होंने भी जो नेपाल गए उन्होंने जरूर सरदार प्रीतम सिंह जी का नाम सुनिया होगा, पर ये कहानियाँ अगर असी रखना चाहते कि जिंदगी भर और लोग जनरेशन्स दे आफ्टर जनरेशन्स ये कहानियां याद रखन तो इसनू लिखना बहुत जरूरी है ताकि इस कलम के थ्रू अज इस किताब के थ्रू जदों मैं या मेरे फादर होन या ना होन ये स्टोरी हमेशा याद रखन ले कि एक सरदार ने की कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन की सी एक दूजी कंट्री ते जाके इंडिया ते नेपाल के बायलैटरल रिलेशनस नू अनऑफिशियली किस तरह उन्होंने इंप्रूव किया सी, उन्होंने किस तरह डेवलपमेंट लिया सीगा। यह चीज़ सिर्फ गल्लां ते लोकां ते नहीं रहेगी, एक किताब के थ्रू हुण वो किताब के थ्रू पढ़ सकते। तो ये मेरी प्रेरणा सीगा कि पिताजी ने बहुत काम किया है, पर अगर उन्होंने किताब के इन्हों की कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन असी लिख के ना रखिए तो जो डॉक्यूमेंटेड नहीं रहता वो कभी भी लोगों को याद नहीं रहता। तो ये एक हिस्ट्री हैगी और इन्हों की नेपाल और नेपाल की हिस्ट्री विच सरदार प्रीतम सिंह का बहुत बड़ा रोल सीगा, बट हिस्ट्री की किताबों में उन्होंने नाम नहीं सीगा। तो ये मेरा एक सोच सीगा कि इन्ना को एक बंदे ने 67 ईयर्स इस कंट्री की डिवेलपमेंट को दिता है, तो अज इन्हों की कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशनस को असी किस तरह परमानेंट कर सकिए, लोग सदियों तक याद रख सके कि एक सरदार जो जम्मू कश्मीर के पहाड़ी सरदार से रेफ्यूजी सरदार से जो आके दूजी कंट्री विच उन्होंने कितनी कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन की है। क्योंकि कहते हैं कि जिथे सरदार जाता है उत्थे खुशहाली ले आता है। तो वही एक एग्जाम्पल है सरदार प्रीतम सिंह जी का जो दूजी कंट्री विच भी जाके उन्होंने अपनी कौम वास्ते अपने लोगों वास्ते खुशहाली और एक इज्जत दी हैगी। और नेपाल दे विच नहीं जो नेपाल सरदार आए सी उहदे बाद उन्होंने अपने परिवारों को पंजाब जम्मू कश्मीर दे वापस पैसा भेजा ताकि वो भी अपने परिवार को बेहतर जिंदगी दे सकन और एक बेहतर आइडेंटिटी दे सकन। सो यही मेरी प्रेरणा सी कि मैं इस किताब में
अपने फादर किस आइकॉनिक के रूप में देख
तो मैं कह रही हाँ मेरी किताब 3 जुलाई को गुरु पूर्णिमा विच रिलीज़ हुई सी कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ नेपाल ने रिलीज़ की सी ये किताब। तो मैं ये क्या सीगा उस दिन भी कि गुरु पूर्णिमा विच मैं पहली ट्रिब्यूट अपने फादर को देती जो मेरी पहली गुरु है जिन्होंने मैनू एक जिंदगी के बहुत बड़े लीडरशिप लैसन सिखाए। सब तो पहला लीडरशिप लैसन यह सिखाया है कि अगर जिंदगी विच अगे बढ़ना है तो कल्ले नहीं, लोगों को लैके चलो। और दूजी चीज़ हैगी कि जिंदगी विच हार्ड वर्क सबसे जरूरी चीज़ है। पीछे ना हटो, कोई फास्ट वर्क नहीं हैगा। जिंदगी हार्ड वर्क करो और अगे तुहानू जितनी परेशानियां जितनी प्रॉब्लम्स होंगी हार्ड वर्क ना तुसी जरूर कामयाबी पाओगे। ये चीज़ां कई लीडरशिप लेसन मैंने अपने प्यो तो सीखी। एम्पैथी दी लीडरशिप एज अ पर्सन, उन्होंने कंपैशन, परसवेरेंस, जो जो क्वालिटीज़ एक अच्छी लीडर विच होंदी है अपनी कौम को अगे बढ़ाने विच, कम्यूनिटी अपलिफ्टमेंट विच, वो मैंने अपने प्यो तो सीखी। तो इस करके मेरा एक कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन सीखा कि मैं इन्हों दे लीडरशिप दुनिया के सामने रख सका।
सर किसी यूथ को की कहना होगे छोटी
दूसरी यूथ से मैं कहूँगा कि इंसान शुरू तो ही कहना जी, कई दफ़ा लोग कहने जी अज मेरी उम्र हैगी पाठ उधर तो बाद उची कर लाँगे आराम नाल, लेकिन जोड़े लोग शुरू से नहीं करते वो अखीर में नहीं कर सकते। वही सेम चीज़ जी है ये लागू नहीं होती है कि अगर बंदा बचपन तो या जवानी के अगर वो हार्ड वर्क करके किसी जगह से नहीं पहुँचाना वो फिर कभी भी किसी जगह नहीं पहुँचेगा, बड़ा हो जाएगा। इस बात से कोई भी चीज़ जी है उसमें शुरू तो ही मतलब हार्ड वर्क करना चाहिए ताकि आदमी किसी जगह पहुँच सके और अपने देश से अपने बाल बच्चे भी अपने फिलहाली पहचान की सेवा कर सके। मैं तो चाहूँगा कि जब भी जो भी है उन्होंने शुरू तो ही मतलब है कि हार्ड वर्क करना।
सारा खिरदा पंजाब न्यूज़ चैनल में जिससे जो ऑडियंस है सारे आदमी और जो लोग देख रहे हैं उन्होंने बस छोटा सा मैसेज
मैं यही कहा कि साढ़े यूथ वास्ते कि यह ना पूछो कि तुहाडा देश ते या तुहाडी कौम की कर सकती, तुसी सोचो कि तुसी अपने देश ते अपनी कौम वास्ते की कर सकते हो। एक बुक मेरी कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन है मेरी सिख कौम का नाम अगे बढ़ाने वास्ते, ताकि मैं एक एज ए प्राउड सिख कह सकां कि सरदार प्रीतम सिंह एंड मैं सरदार किरण संधू अपनी कौम वास्ते एक नाम एक छाप छड़ के जा रहे। तो तुसी पूछो तुसी की कर सकते हो अपनी कौम ते अपनी देश वास्ते।
थैंक यू साडा खिरदा पंजाब ਵੱਲੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੁੱਕ ਲਾਂਚ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਦ ਰੋਜ਼ ਆਫ ਦ ਵੈਲੀ, ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਅੱਜ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਰ ਨਾਲ। ਸਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੁੱਕ ਲਾਂਚ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਪ੍ਰੀਤਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦੀ, ਉਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੋਗੇ?
मैं तो सिर्फ भाई कहना चाहूँगा कि 1957 में सिंह साहब इतने नेपाल और उत्थे जाके उन्होंने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्रिएट किया ट्रांसपोर्ट और एजुकेशन के अंदर। और देखो वो कहते हैं मैं गया सी पटना तो अगे सड़क भी नहीं सी। तो पंजाबीयत ही हैगी या सिख कौम भी हैगी जी इन्ने चैलेंजिज लेंदी है, वो भी पगड़ी पा के किसी पराए मुल्क जाना पावे नेपाल सीगा और उस तो बाद जाके उत्थे फिर स्क्रैच तो शुरू करना। एंड आई थिंक टुडे वन द मोस्ट नोन मैन इन नेपाल। पिछे इन्हों की जब बुक नेपाल से लॉन्च हुई सी प्राइम मिनिस्टर भी सीगा, सारे लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन भी सीगे। सो इन्होंने नॉट ओनली सिख कौम बट हिंदुस्तान का भी बड़ा नाम किया और हिंदुस्तान के पाकिस्तान के बीच एक ब्रिज बने ने डिप्लोमेसी के अंदर भी, बिकॉज डिप्लोमेट से आते जाते रहते हैं, पोस्टिंग होती रहती है, बट जोड़ा बंदा 50 साल तो उत्थे पगड़ी बन के रह रहा है आई थिंक वो सब तो बड़ा हिंदुस्तान का डिप्लोमेट है बिकॉज वो एक्शनस के रोज़ नेपाली देखते हैं वो दी उनकी मेहर है कि सरदार प्रीतम सिंह जी ने इन्ना नाम कमाया और इन्ना कुछ किया है कि अज कहीं उन्होंने किताब लिखी गई और कहीं अज दिल्ली के अंदर हिंदुस्तान की सियासत है, पर दिल्ली के अंदर जिन्हें भी मोअज़्ज़ज़ सिख और पंजाबी सीगे सारे शरीक हुए एंड कई तो उन्होंने पिछले 40 सालों तो जानते हैं। सो साढ़े मजहब की साढ़े रिलीजन की साड़ी कंट्री की शान है।
सर जिवें कहा कि शान है प्रीतम सिंह जी को एज अ पर्सनल कहां कि किवें जानते हो, कदों तो जानते हो?
मैं प्रीतम सिंह जी को तो इन्नी अच्छी तरह नहीं जानता, मैं उन्होंने बेटी को जानता किरण में, तो किरण के थ्रू मैंने पता चलता रहता सी। फिर मैं उन्होंने किताब पढ़ी तो किताब पढ़ के फिर मेरे को मिल गया कि मैं क्या जिस बंदे ने इन्ना कुछ किया है ऐसे बंदे को मैं ज़रूर मिलना चाहूँगा, हाथ मिलाना चाहूँगा, उन्हें पैरी हाथ ला के उन्हें तो आशीर्वाद देना चाहूँगा जो अज मैं लिया अपने अपने आप में बहुत मैं फख्र है कि मैं अज इन्ने अचीव्ड इंडिविजुअल दी हैपन्स टू बी फ्रॉम द सेम कम्यूनिटी उन्होंने मैं मिल पाया।
ਸਰ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਯੂਥ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਮਤਲਬ ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੈਂਟ ਕਰੋਗੇ? ਜਿਵੇਂ ਪ੍ਰੀਤਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਪਰੈਜ਼ੈਂਟ ਕੀਤਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਬੇਟੀ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਬੁੱਕ ਲਿਖ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਫਾਦਰ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੈਂਟ ਕੀਤਾ, ਇੱਕ ਆਈਕੋਨਿਕ ਹੀਰੋ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਬੁੱਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਫਾਦਰ ਨੂੰ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਯੂਥ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੋਗੇ ਇਸ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਥਰੂ?
ਇਹ ਨਾ ਦੇ ਦੋ ਜਵਾਬ ਨੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ। ਪਹਿਲਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਆਪ ਹੀ ਦੇ ਛੱਡਿਆ कि बेटी की परवरिश भी अच्छी, और बेटी ने अपने पापा ने उस काबिल समझे तो किताब लिखी है ना, हाउ मेनी ऑफ अस कैन राइट अ बुक, ऑल्दो ऑल पेरेंट्स आर ग्रेट, बट क्योंकि उन्होंने फादर पब्लिक लाइफ विच रहे ने, एक पराए मुल्क विच रहे ने, तो पहली गल तो उन्होंने परवरिश बच्चे की बहुत अच्छी रही है कि बेटी संस्कार अच्छे ने जो अपने प्यो में अजकल के जमाने भी इन्नी इज्जत देती है। और उस तो बाद अजकल के यूथ लिए तो यही है कि जल्दी जिंदगी कुछ नहीं होया। ਅੱਜ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੀਤਮ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਲਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਿਲੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਹ 57 ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਤੇ 60-70 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਰਨੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਯੂਥ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਬੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗਰਮ ਖਾਣ ਦੀ ਆਦਤ ਪੈ ਗਈ ਨਾ, ਡੋਮਿਨੋ ਪੀਜ਼ਾ ਤੇ ਫਟਾਫਟ ਫਾਸਟ ਫੂਡ, ਉਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ 'ਚ ਸਕਸੈਸ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਫਿਰ ਠੰਡੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਖਾਣੀ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸਕਸੈਸ ਓਵਰਨਾਈਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਤੇ ਯੂਥ ਨੂੰ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਸਬਰ ਲਿਆਉਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਕਿ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਜਲਦੀ ਡੋਮਿਨੋਸ ਤੋਂ ਪੀਜ਼ਾ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਸਵੀਗੀ ਵਾਲਾ ਰੋਟੀ ਲਿਆਉਂਦਾ, ਉਨੀ ਜਲਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ 'ਚ ਸਕਸੈਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ।
ਜੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਸਰ। ਸਾਡਾ ਖਿੜਦਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਚੈਨਲ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਯੂਥ ਨੂੰ ਜੋ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਜੀ। ਮੇਰੀ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਭਕਾਮਨਾएं ਨੇ, ਬੈਸਟ ਵਿਸ਼ੇਸ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਚੈਨਲ ਨੂੰ, ਔਰ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਮਿਹਰ ਕਰੇਗਾ ਔਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਉਪਰਾਲੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਓ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਤੱਕ ਜਾਏ ਔਰ ਲੋਕ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਨਫਲੂਐਂਸ ਹੋ ਕਰ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਹਤਰ ਬਣਾਏ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
Hello, mic check. Hello, mic check. Namaskar. तो एक बंदा उन्होंने को लाया, he had some issues and ये तो चला गया। सन साहब ने पूछा कि बंदा कौन सी? पहले जो उन्होंने नाल बैठे से उन्हें क्या पता नहीं सर, शायद नाल दे पिंडों कोई सीगा। Then he asked the gentleman, his disciple on the right, कि ये बंदा कौन सी? पता नहीं सर, परेशान सीगा पर we don't know who he was। तो संत साहब ने बोलिया कि जिस बंदे ने अपनी जिंदगी पहचान ही नहीं बनाई, maybe he doesn't deserve to be the position he is in because maybe उन्हें समाज में कुछ किया ही नहीं, nobody knows him। And it's such an honor and pleasure for me to be here, to be a part of the journey of Sadda Khirda Punjab, although I've just met him for the first time, where he has not only influenced, as he says, his Janam Bhumi, also his Karam Bhumi. And I would say some of the work that I briefly read in the book, it is South Asia. So can you give a big round of applause for the gentleman. I'm not a scholar on Sikhism, but all I know is that, sir, you've truly walked on the path that Nanak defined. You've done for yourself, you've done for the community, you've shared, and you're still attached to the Guru Card because I believe you did. You were instrumental, and in fact the Almighty allowed you to be instrumental in making 4 Gurdwara Sahibs, not more. So not only as a Sikh, as an Indian, as a South Asian, but we all take pride in you because you've also done the community service of a Khuzai diplomat, although we have a very achieved individual who I'm personally very impressed by when we meet at the Sikh Forum. But sir, do you think he also is a quasi diplomat because a lot of work he did bridging between India and Nepal, and especially with Guru Di Diti Dastar Nal? I mean, imagine the kind of goodwill he's created for our community in our country. So sir, I salute you for being a young aspirant. And a young Hindustan ki definition, but he we can have another debate on that, but having said that, I still consider myself young because my daadi dhai kara ke aaye. So sir, you've been instrumental, and And you know, two things that really stood in my mind. He's been in the business of transport, and he's done his philanthropy in the business of education. So I just thought of it while I was waiting for my cup of coffee, which I still haven't gotten. Would I be within my brief saying that he's been transporting minds? Because you know, he was instrumental in modern school there. And yet he's been in the transport business. So imagine the impact he's created for the generations to come, because the best way to influence any system is to educate them. So he's been instrumental in empowering kids in Nepal. And I believe the presentation is also made by 2 children from one of the institutions. So sir, thank you so much. It's been an honor, pleasure that you've inspired us. I'd request Sardar ji, if you can sing, sir, if you can honor Sardar Singh ji. I think if there is any individual, and the beauty is I didn't ask him for his CV or his biodata. Can you give a big round of applause if Sardar Pritam Singh ji can please honor Sardar Singh ji. Now these are 2 big luminaries in the same photo frame, so ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਇਓਡਾਟਾ ਤੇ ਮੰਗਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ, ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੁਤਾਸਿਰ ਹੈਗਾ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ despite being the senior most Sikh individual and politician in the country right now, he's also met Pandit Nehru. I believe मैं ਤੁਹਾਡੀ interview ਦੇਖ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ when he came to the Bhakra Nangal Dam. You were there to receive him as PRO, am I right on that? And who knows the underbelly of Indian politics, because in 1984, when the turf war was happening, Sir was with Gyani Zal Singh ji then, and now, you know, the latest farm protest. So imagine the gentleman pre-partition started his journey with NIFED, and how much of a asset to the Sikh community he is, because he's seen almost 3 generations. So once again, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. You know, Indo-Pak relations are very close to my heart, and I've traveled to that country because saadi bahut sari heritage utthe pai hui hai. So in one of the discussions I heard Najam Sethi say that कि पाकिस्तान का बहुत बड़ा लॉस हुआ जो उठू सिख और हिंदू चले गए, क्योंकि इसी व्यापारी लोग आ गए. And no points, this is not a occasion where I want to bash any country, but no wonder they were not able to create business, because the ideology farak sigi. So big loss to Pakistan was when the Punjabis, and especially the Sikhs, because we were all traders back there, koi motor parts karda siga, koi dry fruit karda si. And I said, although sir was born in Jammu, but my father was again to India, but he's been again to 2 nations, India and Nepal, which is so beautiful. I'd request if we can honor Ambassador Puri. Ambassador Puri, I'm a big visit the Sikh Forum, we interact quite a bit, and I believe when you were posted in Nepal, you and sir did host a few events where you not only did good to the community, both in India and Nepal, but I think also for the Sikh cause. So I salute you for that, sir. A few adjectives which I felt define Sardar Pritam Singh ji are, and then we have to read the book to know the context of it, because I'm not going to take the suspense away. But once I say them, I'm sure you'll marinate on each one of them. He's been a pioneer, I think he took 3 trucks and went in 1957. What a visionary, from Jammu to Nepal. A revolutionary, because once he acquired the wealth, he understood that apne liye kamaya the ki kita. You know, life is a life only lived for others is a life well lived. A philanthropist, a leader, because you have to believe in your cause to lead. Fearless, wearing a turban, going into a different nation. And you know, with India and Nepal, we've had our tougher moments too, and Ambassador Saab can tell you more on that. An entrepreneur, religious, and I'm going to judiciously use the word spiritual after judicious because I don't want to mix the two. Because sabne puri Sikhi sabat rakhi hai. So there's a thick line between the two. Every devout Sikh need not be spiritual, but being spiritual and religious is something which I've seen that in him. Determined. If you're not determined, you can't pull that far. Compassionate and a Karam Yogi. So these are a few words that I thought when I was briefly reading the book that came into my mind, and I thought I will do the needful. Thank you. And now can I please request if we can honor Manjeet Singh ji GK. Manjeet Singh GK is due to Greta Kailash? Really? Guru Kripa. I think in today's day and age where everything has become in India it's a presidential election now, so it's between 2 personalities, and now I like it how from GK Greta Kailash she transformed into Guru Kripa. So sir, Jumle de karne padne. I'm not saying this is a jumla, but it's good for that. You know, my father used to know his father very well, and I used to know his brother in New York also very well, because that's where I used to eat my lunch. But having said that, when I look at the Gurdwara politics, you know, you're probably the only person that I wish to hear, because you have a lot of semblance and you make a lot of sense. And some of what you did, you know, your CV was 3 pages. So I have to be very judicious in what I do, but you know, you've done a career guidance fair, and pretty much on the lines of the Holocaust, in a symbolic gesture towards the victims of 1984 96 riots, a memorial called the Wall of Truth was housed in the premises of Gurdwara Rakabganj Sahib, and the name of 3,000 victims. Were there really only 3,000 or more than that? I thought so. You know, were killed in the carnage and And on the 350th birth anniversary celebrations of Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji, 3 special trains under the flagship of Charan Chalao Marak Gobind were sent from Delhi to Patna Sahib. This is the one I love the most. Sardar Manjeet Singh Ji, the first choice of Sikh community in Delhi, was crowned. Wow. That's what I feel when I wear my turban every day, that I crown myself. So I'm so happy that you take so much of pride in it. Crowned as the chief of the prestigious Delhi Sikh Gurdwara Management Committee when he was sworn in, and as its president after the historic triumph of the SAD. You know, any reference without Nepal would not be doing justice to Sardar Pritam Singh Ji. So it's such an honor that we have 2 distinguished people from the embassy, Mr. Rajan and Ms. Uma Prasad. So can we have a please round of applause, and can we please honor them? Before I call the very bold and the beautiful Pritam Sandhu, you know, you must have seen some even great values to your children, because look at the pride she's taken. I've only met her, this is the second time I'm meeting her, but it is amazing that she's taken so much of pride in her father, and I congratulate, I believe all the 3 sisters are here. So can you give a big round of applause for the three beautiful daughters. So before I call her, I was watching, as a child you grew up with obsession for the West, Levi's and Netflix and fast cars. So that's how the first part of the journey was. But then once you understand life, when you get done with the financial accumulations, फिर नेपाल समझ आना शुरू होता है. I think it's one of the most beautiful countries in the world where you actually go to know yourself. And I was watching a Hollywood movie, and in this gentleman is trying to impress a lady. And the guy's full of shit, so he's trying to impress a lady. The movie's called There's Something About Mary. So in that movie he says, and just to impress the lady, he says, oh, you know what, I work for the underprivileged kids in Nepal. So that's the kind of branding Nepal has. It's a great country where you can go and find yourself, because I think some of the most relaxed individuals come from that country. So many congratulations and thank you so much. So Kiran, now the ball is in your court. And by the way, belated happy birthday.
Good afternoon, and thank you to all who are present today. It's our honor and a privilege to be surrounded by friends, family, members of the media who are here today to bless this occasion, the introduction of the book, Roads to the Valley, the legacy of Sardar Pritam Singh in Nepal. My name is Kiran Sandhu. I am the youngest daughter of Sardar Pritam Singh. Sometimes as a child, I would wonder, is this identity as the daughter of Sardar Pritam Singh enough? I tried to run away from it many a times, because his image was too big for any of us to fulfill. But the more I ran away from myself, from my identity as the daughter of Sardar Pritam Singh, I realized I was running away from who I was. And in this journey, I refound myself. I refound that not only was I the daughter of Sardar Pritam Singh, but I had inherited a legacy. A man who had transformed the landscapes of Nepal. The Roads to the Valley is a journey of a Punjabi Sikh which started in the 1920s with a man whose name was Sadda Khirda, a devout Sikh who left his village, Punj, born in Tehsil Bagh, Punj, in view for better opportunities, so that he could do something for his community, for his family. When he left his little village, he did not know that there were many new paths to the valleys that he was going to be creating, not only for his family, but for the Punjabi Baradari, for the Sikh community of Jammu Kashmir, and then to Nepal. With him, when he became part of many Sikh agitations, whether they were part of the Treen massacre, or the Punjab stab attack, or the Chabiyan agitation, which the Gurdwara Sahib Akali had actually said that all Sikhs should be part of these agitations. As a devout Sikh, he committed that he would choose his Sikhness versus अपॉर्चुनिटी एंड पैसा। उन्होंने सारा कुछ छड़ के वापस अमृतसर गए, एजिटेशंस विच पार्टिसिपेट किया, अंबाला जेल विच गए और उदे बाद जिन्नी वारी सिख कौम नूं उन्हां दी लोड़ सी, सरदार कान सिंह जी अगे वध के उन्होंने काम किया अपनी कौम वास्ते। उन्होंने नहीं पता सी कि अपनी कौम के नाल वो अपनी परिवार नूं भी सिखा रहे हैं कि इस कौम की किस तरह सेवा कर सकते हैं। जब वो वापस 1926 में जम्मू कश्मीर गए तो उत्थे उन्होंने क्या बस बथेरा हो गया, मैं हुण गोरियां वास्ते काम नहीं करना, मैं अपने लोगों वास्ते काम करांगी। जब गए वो बाहर, ही मेट सरदार उत्तम सिंह जी। वो गए सी नौकरी ढूंढन वास्ते, तो उत्थे सरदार उत्तम सिंह जी ने क्या, सरदार जी तुसी अपनी कौम वास्ते इन्ना काम किया है, तुसी किसी होर दी नौकरी को करोगे, मैं आज तुहानू 700 रुपए देंगा, तुसी अपनी गड्डी लगाओ। उस 700 रुपए ने सरदार कान सिंह जी ने एक नया रास्ता दिता। उन्होंने पहली गड्डी लगाई और उन्होंने अपनी जिंदगी की फर्स्ट लेसन सीखा कि अगर इंसान ने कुछ करना है, सो यू कांट डू इट अलोन, you have to support other people from your community, and that was the first leadership lesson that he learned from Sardar Uttam Singh ji. In 1948 which जदों इंडिया पाकिस्तान दा पार्टीशन हुई सी, उस टाइम असी पुंछी बरादरी दे बहुत लोग, 10,000 तो भी ज्यादा लोग were stuck in Punch town. Us time, Brigadier Pritam Singh ji had been given the order, evacuate and leave. But at that time, Brigadier Pritam Singh decided that he was going to be standing with the Punchi community and see how we could evacuate them from that town. History has recorded and noted that. But many do not know that along with Sardar Brigadier Pritam Singh ji was my uncle, Sardar Fakir Singh ji, who stood with Brigadier Pritam Singh ji in the construction in making the airway fields so that hundreds and thousands of Punchi and Sikh and Punjabi families could be evacuated from Punch. And once they came back, Sardar Fakir Singh ji was involved in the active rehabilitation of the Punchi Sikhs of Jammu Kashmir. उन्होंने ये सिखाया अपने परिवार में कि आगे बढ़ना है तो नाल कौम नू लेके बढ़ो. And this was again the second leadership lesson that our family has taught us. The roads to the valley, which started in Kashmir, then went on with Sardar Pritam Singh ji, who decided that let's do something, pave new roads, new paths and new opportunities for the Qawm. He found his roads, which were not there, but paved them through those mountainous terrains of Jammu Kashmir. He went on with 3 trucks, 6 drivers. And when he reached Patna, they found out there were no roads. And his innovative, creative mind made him tie those boats and put those trucks on top of that to cross those roads. That was how we merged and brought India closer to Nepal, increased our connectivity, accessibility of ideas, people and thoughts. The lesson that I learned from my father with this example was that agar zindagi vich kuch karna hai, be a risk taker, be innovative, because agge vadhan vaste पिछे नहीं देख सकते कि कौन तुम्हारा नाल है या नहीं है का. Be the trailblazer, and that's what Sardar Pritam Singh ji did when he went to Nepal to transform the landscape by changing and merging and bringing people together. I am honored. Today I am honored that we are surrounded by loved ones, but I would like to give a special warm welcome to Sardar Khirda Singh ji, former Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, Sardar Manjeet Singh Puri ji, former Indian Ambassador to Nepal. Thank you so much, sir, for writing the foreword of this book and being very supportive in my journey of writing this legacy of my father. A very warm welcome and thank you, Sardar Manjeet Singh ji GK. You are the most prominent Sikh politician in the Gurdwara scene, and we welcome you here. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all members of the Nepal Embassy. We are honored to have you, Rabbi ji, and all the friends who are here to celebrate my father's legacy. Thank you. Now, let's see a short video which shows the glimpse of Sardar Pritam Singh's life in Jammu Kashmir and Nepal.
मेरी जन्मभूमि जो है वो इंडिया है, लेकिन मेरी कर्म भूमि जो है वो नेपाल है।
तो हम लोग जम्मू कश्मीर के रहने वाले हैं।
I was born in Srinagar in 1935। मेरी माताजी का नाम जय कौर था और मेरे पिताजी का नाम सरदार खान सिंह जी था। हम 5 भाई हैं और एक बहन है। My wife Archana को एक्चुअली उसका बहुत जिंदगी में मुझे बहुत ही सहयोग मिला। मेरे 4 बच्चे हैं जिसमें एक लड़का और 3 लड़के हैं। लड़के का नाम इंद्रपाल सिंह, लड़की का नाम मीनू सिंह। जो बुक जो इस वक्त आ रही है ये एक्चुअली मेरी छोटी लड़की है किरणदीप सिंधु। इसने बड़ी मेहनत कैसे कहाँ से जो फोटो वगैरह निकाल के और कहाँ से जो पुरानी जिंदगी मेरी को उसको अक्योर के तो ये सब चीज़ें की है। मैं इसका शुक्रगुजार हूँ।
I get my A lessons from India. Started from Delhi and completed that lessons in Lucknow. But when I went back home and my mother didn't like it.
मेरे पिताजी भी ट्रांसपोर्ट बिजनेस में थे। एक्चुअली जम्मू कश्मीर में जो पहले ट्रांसपोर्ट शुरू की मेरे पिताजी ने की थी 1930 में। मैंने भी ट्रांसपोर्ट ज्वाइन की और मेरे छोटे भाई जो दर्शन सिंह जी हैं उन्होंने भी ट्रांसपोर्ट का बिजनेस ज्वाइन किया। हम दोनों मिलकर ट्रांसपोर्ट का काम करते थे। मैं पहली दफा नेपाल 1958 में मैं आया। मेरे साथ मेरे बड़े नजदीकी दोस्त तारा सिंह जी थे जो मेरे साथ आए। जब हम आए हम लोग पहले तो ट्रेन सफर जो था वो क्योंकि छोटी ट्रेनें चलती थी, बड़ी मुश्किल था। और ट्रेन जो थी वो बीरगंज से अमलीगंज तक ही चलती थी और फिर वहाँ से काठमांडू में बड़ी मुश्किल से हमको एक बहुत पुरानी गाड़ी थी वो मिली थी, जिसपे हम आए, लेकिन उनको 2 दिन हमको लागे 2-3 दिन लगे थे रास्ते में, क्योंकि रोड इतना छोटा, इतनी छोटी रोड थी कि यहाँ पर आना भी मुश्किल था। न्यू रोड में थोड़ा सा घूमने लगे थे, इतनी देर मैंने एक सरदार जी को खुद कार में आते देखा और वो पता चला कि वो मेरे दोस्त सरदार दुर्लभ, और वो इस वक्त कई महंगा देखिए उनकी प्लेन था, उसके को पायलट थे। उस वक्त 1959 में जब मैं 3 गाड़ी लेके जम्मू से निकला, लेकिन पटना साहब से पता चला कि यहाँ से रिवर क्रॉस करना पड़ेगा। उस वक्त कोई ब्रिज नहीं था वहाँ पर। 2 बोट, बड़े बड़े 2 बोट तो लिए और उनको बड़े दरसों से अच्छी तरह से बांधा, तो आस्ते आस्ते करके 3 गाड़ी को हमने 3 बोट पे चढ़ा, 6 बोट पे चढ़ा दिया। तो पहला ऑफिस हमने अमलीगंज में रखा, उसके बाद हम लोगों ने गनगढ़ी में भी ऑफिस खोला, नेपालगंज में भी खोला, भुजबल में भी खोला, पोखरा में भी था, बीरगंज में, धर्मपुर में। MPMS हम लोगों ने जब शुरू की थी तो आज सरदार हसन सिंह जी, सरदार सुरजीत सिंह जी, तरलोक सिंह जी, मिस्टर महेंद्र सिंह जी और हम लोग ये सारे मिलके करते रहे। काठमांडू से तरसुई तक जो रास्ता था बहुत ही डेंजरस रास्ता था, लेकिन कैसे गाड़ियां हम लोग लेके गए और उसकी जितनी भी ट्रांसपोर्टेशन थी, सीमेंट, लोहा, जितने बड़े बड़े मतलब है कि सारे हम लोग मतलब है कि लेके गए। और उसके बाद फिर देवी घाट, जो सेकंड प्रोजेक्ट देवी घाट शुरू हुआ, तो देवी घाट का भी पूरा जो जितना भी ट्रांसपोर्टेशन थी सारी हमने की।
म भर्खरै हाई स्कुल पुरा गरेर कलेज पढ्न जाँदा सबभन्दा पहिला चढेको बस नेपाल पब्लिक मोटर सर्भिसको उहाँकै बस रहेछ।
First person who is met, and he taught the hotel what is the transportation.
नेपालको पब्लिक यातायातको विकासको कामदार हो।
बाद में हमने सोचा कि कुछ न कुछ यहाँ के लोगों के लिए कोई ऐसी चीज की जाए, जिसकी वजह से हमने ये एजुकेशन सेक्टर चुना और उसमें से हम लोग 3 आदमी थे। मैं था, मिस्टर राधेश्याम साहब, मिस्टर लाली, हम तीनों ने मिलके यहाँ पर एक बहुत बड़ा अच्छा स्कूल एजुकेशन, खास करके CBSE, उस वक्त CBSE की यहाँ पर एक्चुअली बगैर इंडियन एम्बेसी का और कोई स्कूल नहीं था, जिसकी वजह से हम ये स्कूल खोलने की वजह से बहुत से लोग नेपाली लोग जिनको खास करके इंडिया में जाके पढ़ना था, उन लोगों को काफी सहूलत हुई। उसमें हम लोगों ने बहुत लोगों की मदद की और हजारों बच्चे जो कहे डॉक्टर, इंजीनियर, पॉलिटिकल बनना, बहुत ऐसे बच्चे यहाँ स्कूल से निकले कि मैं इतना खुश हूँ कि इतना हम लोग इन बच्चों के लिए कोई अच्छी एजुकेशन का बंदोबस्त कर सकें। शुरू में इसमें क्या था कि ये हमको परमिशन मिली थी कि हम सिर्फ इंडियन बच्चों को लें। बाद में मिस्टर भट्टाचार्य जी जो कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे उस वक्त, उन्होंने स्कूल विजिट किया तो उन्होंने कहा कि एजुकेशन में तो भेदभाव नहीं होना चाहिए, तो आपको नेपाली बच्चों को लेना चाहिए। हमने काम शुरू किया तो उसके बाद यहाँ के लोग बच्चे भी स्कूल में आने लगे और आज इतने सालों से हमने जितनी हो सके हम बच्चों के लिए कई बहुत बच्चों को मुफ्त भी पढ़ाया, बहुत बच्चों की सेवा जैसे जिसको जरूरत पड़ी ऐसा, और स्कूल अभी तक उतनी अच्छी तरह से चल रहा है और क्वालिटी एजुकेशन हम लोग देने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं ताकि आगे बच्चे जो है क्वालिटी एजुकेशन लेके बाद में अपना कारोबार।
He is an epitome of empathy. Anyone going to him, he never said, he could never say no. There are 3 trustees. He is actually the binding force between all these 3 people.
अब तकरीबन 6 महीने के बाद जब मेरे फादर और मदर आए तो अब फादर तो आते ही पहली बात तो वो यही पूछने लगे कि यहाँ कोई गुरुद्वारा है कि नहीं। तो उस वक्त हमने पहला गुरुद्वारा जो था वो अमृतगंज में बनाया था और बीरगंज में भी एक गुरुद्वारा बनाया। उसके बाद काठमांडू में भी गुरुद्वारा बनाया। उसके बाद हमने अपनी जगह पे गुरुद्वारा भुजबल में बनाया, नेपालगंज में भी बनाया और उसके बाद धनगढ़ी में जो मेरे छोटे भाई से वहाँ पर जो गुरुद्वारा है गुरुद्वारे के बनाया। बाकी जब अर्थक्वेक आया था नेपाल में तो उस वक्त हम लोगों ने खास करके सिख कम्युनिटी ने बहुत सेवा की। हमारे यहाँ गुरुद्वारे में तकरीबन 10,000 आदमी का रोज लंगर हम लोग तैयार करते थे और बांटने के लिए जगह जगह भेजते थे।
जगहों पर जो है लंगर चल रहा था,
कंबल बांटे गए, कपड़े बांटे गए।
और कोविड के टाइम में भी हमारे जो यूथ है उन्होंने बहुत मतलब जगह जगह जाके मतलब काफी सेवा की।
Book notes in its opening chapter the history of Nepal and in particular the transport sector in Nepal cannot be written without a reference or an acknowledgement of Sardar Pritam Singh's role in it.
And I don't think that he may be wearing a turban, but he is, he is for the local. He is a Hindu, he is a Muslim, he is, he's a Nepali. Secularism is not only religion. Secularism is also who you are, and how you deal with the people who are not like you. So that's how I define it. Secularism for me is not definition and religion only.
A lot of young politicians like us, during the time of earthquake and several disasters, when several doors were closed to us, we came to run into your house, to your gurdwaras. When your arms were open for us, the doors were open for us.
2 years that I was there, I got to know him much better, and I realized, that he was really a pillar of the Indian community in Nepal, and he was a pioneer in many, many ways. Whether it's in terms of the transport business that he started, or in the field of education, or indeed in the development of many Sikh Gurudwaras in Nepal.
Sardar Pritam Singh, from Kashmir to Kathmandu, is a shining example of how a man can thrive with honesty, piety, agility, humility, and firmness. Guru Nanak Dev Ji left that village saying, "You all should uproot and settle in different places." Bhai Mardana was puzzled by this. Guru Nanak Dev Ji explained, "Look, let these people remain where they are, and those good people should go to different places and spread the goodness and fragrance wherever they go." Sardar Pritam Singh is the living example of that blessing.
और मैं इस मुल्क का और इस धरती का बहुत आभारी हूँ कि इस धरती ने हमको इतने साल रोजी रोटी और सब कुछ दिया, और हम आज इस काबिल हैं कि हम मतलब आगे सबसे कर सकते हैं।
Singh is a Hindu or a Sikh or a Muslim or a Nepali for that matter. So that reminds me of a couplet in Punjabi. Hinduਆਂ ਦਾ ਰੱਬ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਪਾਸੇ, because our Hindu brothers, ਸੂਰਜ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਜਦੇ ਨੇ। ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਰੱਬ ਲਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਾਸੇ, ਸਾਡੇ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨ ਭਰਾ ਇਨੈਬਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਹਿੰਦੂਆਂ ਦਾ ਰੱਬ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਪਾਸੇ, ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਰੱਬ ਲਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਾਸੇ, ਪਰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਰੱਬ ਚਾਰ ਚਹੇਰੇ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਕੀਤੇ ਸਜਦੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਸਵੇਰੇ। So that was the beauty that he not only chose to serve his own, community, the Gurdwaras, but I think they were a cross-section of people who appreciated efforts in the larger upliftment of humanity, and I think that's the closest you can get to Nanak's teaching. And it's an honor for me to now invite Sadda Khirda Punjab, who has, I think he's one of the most, he's a legend of the Sikh community with 4 generations, if not 5, that he's witnessed. Singh sir, can we have the honor and pleasure of a few words and your interaction with Singh sir?
I think today we are in this hall. We are here, and what we have just listened and seen the film, it has proved that a solitary person, one person, from one country to other country. People say that people go to other countries for invasion or for trade or for many other things. But here today, we have all witnessed that one Pritam Singh coming first, the family coming from uprooted from Pakistan, ousted as refugees, settled in Jammu, and from there they come to Nepal. And there they have grown in their business. They are the first one to start transport in Nepal. That's what I heard, that this passenger transport and the trucks carrying goods were introduced by this family. And then, as you have seen in the film, that he built his business, but in addition to that, as a true Sikh, because Sikh is an international citizen. Sikh believes that wherever he is settled, this is his country. And he is to do everything for that country. Though we have all everywhere, we believe that Amritsar is the one where we pay respect, but where we live, we work for the benefit of the people of that country. So here is one Pritam saying that whatever possible in the economic development, educational development in Nepal, he did his best. And that's what we have seen. He proved to be a true, more Nepalese than Indian doing his work there. I have been to Nepal earlier in 1985 during SARC Games as a representative of Indian Olympic Association. Then I was there again in end of 1986 with our Rashtrapati ji on his official tour. I have seen how people respect him in all political parties. He is not wedded to anyone, but he is wedded to the entire Nepalese nation. So because when Gyaniji as Rashtrapati was there, even from the king to the prime minister, to the minister, officer, everybody knew who is Pritam. That's one thing I have noted there, that how much respect he carried because here of his work. So today we are here, and especially Puri Sahib, the most renowned and most efficient Indian diplomat serving everywhere. He was their ambassador in Nepal, and he is the one that he wrote a book on Nepal. You see, people, when they leave, they are there representing India, but he put the whole history of Nepal and how a book he has written. So he is also here. So he knows more than me about Sir Pritam Singh, but since I know the whole family, I was friend of his elder brother Sir Rangir Singh, who was introduced to me by Justice Kuldeep Singh. They were both students together in London. Kuldeep Singh and Rangir Singh did the LLM from London, Parak Law, together. And Rangir Singh remained minister with 3 different chief ministers in Kashmir, education minister. And I myself saw him performing Kirtan. As a minister, he came to Patiala and was performing Kirtan. This is how this family is known. I knew his father. I went to their village in the valley, crossing, and met him a number of times. So whole family, God bless. And what he has done, I am thankful to the family for the book, for the film, because one must promote our achievers and our role model. And he is the one role model and achiever. So I congratulate him and the whole family, and such people can build our relation with 2 countries. Actually, diplomats are there, but if performing person living in those countries, they also do, because it's very interesting, because last month this book shook. There was a turmoil in Kathmandu for release of this book. So it was so much in news to what happened there. So I don't go for that, but I show how much the leadership of Nepal respect and give love and due love to Pritam Singh. So I just say these words. We should have such people in every country. Sat Shri Akal.
I told you I have great liking for Shairi, so you're going to have to put up with another share. And this is one share for the tiger here, the Singh here. You know, because I don't think he realized when he left in the late 50s the kind of history he would create. And the couplet goes कि मैं यूं ही अकेला निकला था जानबे मंजर, मंजर is the शायर in this. मैं यूं ही अकेला निकला था, लोग जुड़ते गए और कारवां बन गया. So Ambassador Puri, once again a great pleasure and honor for me to meet you at a different forum, because it's a pleasure to see you and your beautiful, elegant wife. Welcome, ma'am. And sir, can we please have the honors of now your point of view and your interaction and your journey and your perception and your feelings about Sadda Pritam. Thank you.
Thank you very much for saying that. You know, Sardar Pritam Singh traversed all the way from India to Nepal before I was born. I really feel nice and young here. Thank you. Sardar Tribhuvan Singh Ji, Sardar Manjeet Singh Ji, GK, Sardar Pritam Singh Ji, of course, Kiran, all our friends here. Wonderful and great to see friends from the Nepalese embassy. My wife and I are deeply honored to be here. You know, I must tell you this story. Sardar Tribhuvan Singh just referred to it, and like a good member of parliament, he then stopped short. But do you know any cases where the parliament of a country actually comes to a halt for 2 days? Look, you know, it happened because it's Nepal. It happened because it involves somebody who is of Indian origin. But that's not it. The fact is that the Prime Minister of the country was present there, so were the leaders of all those opposition parties, including the ones who called for a halt in the parliament. All were present there, all came and shook his hands, all are his friends. That is politics. But just think about the person who is able to leverage it on both sides. That's the individual. You know, Sardar Pritam Singh Ji, let me remind you of something. India's first ambassador to Nepal was sent in the year 1947. It was Sardar Surjit Singh Majithia, Harsimrat Badal's grandfather. He later became Deputy Minister of Defence and so on and so forth. And the illustrious Majithia family. He went in 1947. He left in 1948. They said that the plane that took him back was piloted by his brother. And so Sikhs actually began in modern era their relationship there by piloting a plane. And look at this wonderful coincidence. Captain Dullat, who trained here, possibly in Safdarjung Airport, is that right, sir? With Sardar Pritam Singh Ji. He kept flying. He said, look, I'm going to see that these roads become permanent, huge, massive, and the relationship reaches a point where the parliament is suspended for 2 days. Think about that. But just think about these coincidences. You know, Kiran, you're wonderful. You traced the history of your family. You mentioned how they came from Poonch. Frankly, none of us would know about it. And even though I've met your father many times, I've met your Guru Sahib, I've been to Jammu, but none of us would pay. Because, you know, even in the scheme of the Sikh community, which is small, it's an even smaller subset. And we won't know about it. But I'm very happy. And, you know, it only shows that the DNA was already there. And it was a fantastic DNA. But I want to tell you a few other things. देखो जी वो तुसी एक दो फोटोआं देखिए ना, just think about this. Think about the idea of fording. These are not small rivers, huh? ये कोई छोटे जे चो नहीं है जेड़े उत्थे साडे होशियारपुर वगैरह होंदे सी उसके नहीं है. This is the Ganga's tributaries. We are talking about massive rivers, massive rivers. among the largest rivers in the world. Try to think about this in the year 1959, not today. Today it seems like a sport. Those 3 trucks, what would have they costed? Putting them on a boat with people that you don't know anything about. And on the other side, there's no road. And you know, actually, from where they landed, this area near Amlekhganj or wherever they crossed by, Kathmandu, as the crow flies, is just about 30-40 miles. My God, it's a 200-mile road here. Because you have to keep going round and round, round and round. Nepal is only 100 miles wide. But it's a hilly country and it's not easy to manage. Yet they did that. And you know what they did as a result? In the 1960s, they brought to Nepal modernization. They brought about change in the country. It wasn't that Indian goods were not available in Nepal. That's not it. But the transformation that we had seen over possibly 200 years of having the effect of the West in India, it made a lot of difference. Why are we talking in English here? For the very simple reason, Nepalese don't speak in English. Today they do. Today they speak in English for the simple reason that after 1990, they all got passports. A quarter of Nepal is all over the world. And to differentiate themselves from India, they want to speak English. That's beside the point. That's politics. But today, asi sare, we feel very happy speaking in English. Pata nahi kaun banda kithu hai. Angrezi to sare samjhange. These changes were not there in Nepal. And ikka-dukka going across the border is a different matter. But to be able to bring it in a sustained manner brought about the transformation of the country. And that transformation certainly required goods and services. Roads were built, India assisted, massive assistance programs. Incidentally, I don't see my friends here. Yes, I do see Sardar Jagmeet Singh ji, Sardar Pritam Singh ji, another Sardar Pritam Singh ji, who was there in your early days there. Indian Cooperation Mission, building all kinds of irrigation projects in Nepal. We are talking about the early 70s, is that right, Jagmeet? That's right. Very dear friends of mine, and we at that time produced 2 Pritam Singhs in Kathmandu. Can you imagine the poor Nepalese? But think about all of these particular changes. It's not only this change. I'm going to tell you a little story which was told to me by politicians in Nepal, because those were the people I was always interacting with. They said, ये ट्रक तो आया, सामान आया, वो सब ठीक है, लेकिन इन्होंने एक बस सर्विस भी स्टार्ट की. Bus service is perhaps most important in terms of people's movement. And Nepal is 1400 kilometers left to right. Think about going from one end of Nepal to the other. Almost even today, the other individual who's wanting to become Prime Minister, when he first went from his village to Kathmandu to study there, he had to travel via India. It used to be common, but every country has an aspiration. Why should you travel to another country? To go to different parts of my country. So roads were built, but how would you operationalize the roads? You needed bus transport. And they introduced what is very common for us here, road transportation for people. But now I want to tell you something which is very fantastic, especially for all of us, the Sikhs. Nepal is a country where for a variety of reasons, men travel, go out to work because there's very little to do in your villages. But women also go out to work. If you see it in your houses, etc., that's just the tip of it. It's a country and a society where women have also always worked and stepped out of the house. And what is the general impression from those days of the 60s and the 70s? Let our women travel in a bus which has a Sikh driver. It's a matter of trust. That is what he was able to do. Which is why every Prime Minister, every Minister, official, the Army Chief, everyone knows them because they were trustworthy people and built this particular relationship which resulted in so many things happening. Now I'll tell you, I am perhaps the greatest beneficiary of Sardar Pritam Singh. As I told you, when I went to Nepal as ambassador in 2017, the only individual before me who had been ambassador of India and had worn a turban was Sardar Surjit Singh Majidhia in 1947. Even Sardar Pritam Singh didn't know. Do you think anyone in Nepal knew it? Nepal had never seen somebody wearing a turban like this walking around the place. They may have seen me in many parts of the world, etc. In any case, our relations with Nepal are always up and down. We went there soon after this so-called blockade business, etc., etc. You can imagine the kind of tension among people everywhere. What do you think most people would have said about an individual coming who had never served in Nepal, had never served in the area around Nepal, but was known to perhaps some of them from postings in New York, Brussels, and so on and so forth. So one newspaper wrote, "ये पता नहीं कहाँ से अंग्रेज भेज दिया यहाँ पर, who's arrived out here." ये तो Indian newspaper, but written by a Nepali, by the way, who goes around as an Indian journalist. ये सब लोगों ने लिखा. But what did I benefit from? Because quietly all the chaps out there asked Sardar Pritam Singh, "ये ठीक है?" And because I wore a turban, he did. He was my greatest reference point. You know, trust comes not because I am the Indian ambassador. वो तो लोग will deal with me, Indian ambassador है, क्या बात? The issue of trust, who you don't know. None of these politicians that dealt with me, other than Sher Bahadur Dyoba, who became Prime Minister in 1995. By the way, I just started my service then, and I used to tell him, "Sir, when I did my first posting in Delhi as Deputy Chief of Protocol, you were already Prime Minister. I am at the end of my career, you are still Prime Minister. अब मैं और आपके लिए क्या कर सकता हूँ?" तो, you know, उनको छोड़ के nobody else knew. But the reality is, through him, and I hope he was able to gauge me in a little while, because one of our first acts, for obvious reasons, was to visit the Gurdwara Sahib in Kathmandu, and that had to happen, was be able to communicate this business, that here is a person, he's obviously India's ambassador, you deal with him, but there is a individual with whom you can build trust, and trust in today's world, let me tell you, is a particularly important commodity, which is important for diplomacy, important for relations at the level of people. And sir, that's what I want to thank you. Before I end, let me tell you, Sardar Lochan Singh ji, you know, who I've known from my father knowing him, and you know, you were introducing him, let me tell you, he's not just the senior most political leader of the Sikh community in India, but he's been associated with the Indian freedom movement. Is that right, sir? Removing the mics in Patiala, not many people are aware of that. As a young man, revolutionary, and standing up for India. So, I want to say, Sardar Lochan Singh ji, you know, just mentioned a few things to you, but I just want to draw your attention to something on this business of trust. So, in the year 2019, the government of India decided that it should be part of the embassy's efforts worldwide for us to celebrate 550th anniversary of Guru Nanak. It is very rare for any professional bureaucrat, civil servant, diplomat to be able to combine official with personal. It kade nahi hota. But what an occasion. I mean, for us, for me, it was fantastic. And let me tell you something else. It was amazing that the Indian embassy there had 5 Sikhs there. In the total history of 1947 to 2017, there had not been 5 Sikhs posted there. There were 5 of us and 1 go there. But hey, Guru Sahib mein tusi jo marzi kaho. So we said we had to do something. What would we have done? We would have done what all embassies in the world are doing, gone to Sardar Pritam Singh, we would have had a big event there. कोई किसी ने ऐसी एक दो SGPC ਦੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਬੁਲਾਉਂਦੇ हैं वो, you know, all those sort of things. But he told us, ਤੁਸੀਂ रुको, what are you all doing? I am good, I am great what we are doing. ਜਿਹੜੀ Sikh community ਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ achievement ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ in the transport business, gas transportation, people, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹੋ because you know everybody here, or you know what the history would have been. But I want to tell you something else. This is not the beginning and end of history. And ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ 2 ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਅਵਗਤ ਕਰਾਇਆ. Third is, I think, my own doing. ਪਹਿਲੀ ਚੀਜ਼, that there is every possibility that in the third Udasi, Guru Nanak walked through what is today Nepal. in every possibility. Because ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਮਾਨਸਰੋਵਰ, ਦੇਖੋ ਬਨਾਰਸ, ਲੱਗਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੋਗਰਾਫੀਆ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਕਿ ਉੱਥੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਏ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਚਰਨ। I can't talk about evidence. In Kathmandu there is a Gurdwara which claims that Guru Sahib came here. It may be just a claim, we don't know, but it's the idea, it's the thought that there was relationship, and it was he who kept that particular thought alive. It's a different matter that there are land encroachment, so many other issues which are not worth going to, but keeping that spirit alive was particularly important, and now truly understood by people that there is something to all of this. Second thing, he also told me, ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ ਕਈ ਕਿਤਾਬਾਂ ਵੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਆਏ, ਰਾਣੀ ਜਿੰਦਾ, who spent more than a decade in Kathmandu after she escaped from the British onslaught. But did you all know that there was a sizable community of Sikhs who crossed the border and went to Nepal with her? Rani Sahiba take Calcutta gaya, she went on to meet her son and so on and so forth. But the community remained there. We have this small community on the border. Oh, aaj bhi pag pendan. 2 दिन ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਨਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਨੇਪਾਲੀ, rightly so. Absolutely Nepali. They are members of the police forces. They've served in all kinds of things. This community and its presence, again I wouldn't have known, but for Sardar Pritam Singh, who's actually the doyen of our community, and others making this available. And now when you add all of that together, you come to the entire question of the Gurkha Sikh Connect and so on. It's a very interesting history. Because Sardar Pritam Singh ji, my greatest thanks to you is not just for being a champion of India and a champion of the Sikhs and a champion of opening up Nepal to modernization, but is to something which would not have happened but for the good work that you did over 50, 60, 70 years. And that is the release of 3 coins by the government of Nepal on the occasion of Guru Nanak's 550th anniversary. You know, I want to tell you, commemorative coins are often issued, but commemorative coins are not legal tender. Legal tender in coins, stamps, bade country issue karte duje din. I haven't come across coins issued by other countries on matters relating to other countries. Nepal में Sikh नहीं, इन्हां दी community छड़ के होर कोई नहीं, और तो थोड़े जे अपने नेपाल गए. That would not drive the government of Nepal to issue coins on Sikh heritage. It's not an issue. It is them, their relationship, which resulted in the central bank governor taking 30 seconds to say yes to me, and I'm sure the Prime Minister and others turning around and say, we identify this religion with this good person who brought about change in our lives. But this is just to tell you, I've spoken a long time, but what he has done is frankly difficult to encapsulate even in 5-10 minutes. It is a transformation of an understanding of a society, of who you are, who we are, and contributing to that society transforming itself. Sardar Pritam Singh ji, thank you very much for being Sardar Pritam Singh ji and doing what you do.
Before I take the honor and pleasure of inviting Sardar Manjeet Singh ji, GK. Dasapuri, you said a word which really went deep into my heart and my mind. And you said good work. खुश रहने की नसीहत ना देकर किसी के खुश रहने की वजह बनो. सब तो आसान काम है, to issue sermons, lectures, advices. And we all know because we have Gen Z kids. खुश रहने की नसीहत ना देकर किसी के खुश रहने की वजह बनो, क्योंकि इस दुनिया को जीतने के बाद भी सिकंदर खाली हाथ ही गया था. So that's the legacy that Sardar Pritam Singh has created, and it's such an honor and pleasure for me to be here and to be a part of this journey. Sikh Sahib, it's a pleasure for us to now hear your point of view.
मेरा छोटा वीर शेरो शायरी बड़ी करता है मैं भी गल शेर तो शुरू करता और डेडिकेट करता सर प्रीतम सिंह होਰਾਂ ਦੀ परिवार ਨੂੰ। सर अलामा इकबाल ने ये शेर पढ़िया सी कि फलक को जिद है बिजलियां हम ही पे गिराने की, हमें भी जिद है आशियां यही बनाने की। मैं समझदा कि इस परिवार ने प्रूफ किया है कि जो सोच लिया वो करना है और ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ बड़ियां रुकावटां बड़ियां मुसीबतां झलनियां पैंदियां ने, बट आई थिंक कि they have taken out leaf from our Guru's teaching. Guru Nanak was the founder of Sikhism, or I can even say he was the script writer. बाकी गुरु साहबान ने, मैं वेलकम करता वा सर अमरीक सिंह भंडारी, साडे बहुत ही रिस्पैक्टेड साडे बुजुर्ग ने, एंड ही हैज इन्हां दी सेहत ठीक नहीं बट देन आल्सो ही इज हियर। थैंक यू। गुरु नानक साहब जेड़े सन उन्होंने पटकथा लिखी है और सारे गुरुओं ने उसनों अगे चलाया। मैं इत्थे बैठ के मेरे परिवार का इस परिवार के नाल पहला इंटरैक्शन 1970 मेरे पिता का होया सी सार रणजीत सिंह के थ्रू, और साथ साथ में मैं मिलिया सी जम्मू कश्मीर श्रीनगर जदों सार रणजीत सिंह विछोड़ा दे के गए उदों असीं मिले सी। एंड मैं समझदा कि जो कुछ मेरे तो पहले पुरी साहब ने दसिया, सरदार तलोचन सिंह होरां ने दसिया या उन्हां दी बेटी ने रोशनी पाने की कोशिश की है, तो मैं सोचता जा रहा सीगा कि ये सारियां चीज़ां कित्थों सीखियां ने। जे गुरु नानक साहब की गल कर लीए, गुरु नानक साहब ने एक रब की गल की है, ते ये भी इस परिवार ने जाके नेपाल शहर के दस दिता कि जो मुसीबत आई है उदों कोई वखरा रब नहीं है, एको रब है जिहदे अगे हथ जोड़ने पैंदे ने और सेवा करनी पैंदी, रब के बंदे खुद बन के सेवा करनी पैंदी है। उतों के डिजास्टर दे विच, बिकॉज व्हेन आई वाज प्रेजिडेंट ऑफ दिल्ली गुरुद्वारा मैनेजमेंट कमेटी, वी सेंड अ टीम्स टू नेपाल और उत्थे जिहो जी मदद की। मैनूं याद है कुराला साहब उत्थों के प्राइम मिनिस्टर सन, मन नहीं पता उन्होंने मोदी साहब को फोन किया नहीं किया, बट ही कॉल्ड मी एंड थैंक मी पर्सनली द वे सिक्स हेल्प ओवर देयर, और ਉਹਦੇ साथ प्रीतम सिंह होरां ने सानू बहुत गाइड किया। जे मैं गुरु अंगद पातशाह दूजे पातशाह की गल कर लवां तो उन्होंने 35 अखरी तैयार की कि अज साडे अल्फाबैट्स नहीं होने सीगे, गुरमुखी नहीं होनी सी, गुरु ग्रंथ साहब पढ़ना औखा होना सी। जे एजुकेशन की गल की तो सरदार साहब ने उत्थे एजुकेशन के अदारे खोले, मैं समझता हूँ भी गुरु तो कितने ना कितने रोशनी रही है। जे मैं गुरु अमरदास पातशाह की गल कर लवां तो सेवा समर्पण दसिया कि एडी वड्डी उम्र दे विच भी वो किवें गागर भर के लिआंदे हुंदे सीगे, ते ओहदी भी रोशनी इस परिवार दे विचों मिलदी है। जे गुरु रामदास पातशाह की गल कर लवां तो गुरु रामदास पातशाह ने अमृतसर शहर वसाया और इसलिए वसाया कि उत्थे बिजनेस की अपॉर्चुनिटीज हो सकन। मैनूं याद है असीं कोकोला की एजेंसी 1976 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਈ ਸੀ। साहब चरणजीत सिंह ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ एमपी ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਦਿੱਲੀ 'ਚ ਸਿੱਖ ਜਿੱਤੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਮਾਲਕ ਸਨ। ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਫਾਦਰ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲੁਧਿਆਣੇ ਦੀ ਏਜੰਸੀ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ, ਲੁਧਿਆਣਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਹੈ। ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਦੀ ਲਓ, ਉੱਥੇ ਸੇਲ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੈ, ਲੁਧਿਆਣੇ ਸੇਲ ਘੱਟ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਵਸਾਇਆ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਖਾਲੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਸਟੈਬਲਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤਾ, नेपाल ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿੱਡੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਓਪਰਚੁਨਿਟੀ ਖੜੀ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ। ਇਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੱਸਦਾ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਲਈ ਜੀਨੇ ਆ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਹੁਣੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਆਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਲੀਡਰ ਹੋਣ ਇੱਕ ਸਟੇਜ ਤੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਉਸਤਾਦ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਖੜੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਣ ਔਰ ਆਨਰ ਫੀਲ ਕਰਨ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਹੱਥ ਮਿਲਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਜੇ 6ਵੇਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਤੇ 10ਵੇਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਲੋੜ ਪੈ ਜਾਵੇ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਸੀਸ ਵੀ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਛੋੜ ਕੇ ਜੇ ਚਾਬੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਮੋਰਚਾ ਤੇ ਜੈਤੋ ਦੇ ਮੋਰਚੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਪਾਇਆ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਦੱਸੇ ਹੋਏ ਰਾਹ ਤੇ ਤੁਰਦੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੌਮ ਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ ਪੈ ਗਈ ਉਦੋਂ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਹੈ, ਪੰਥ ਪਿਆਰਾ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਰਕੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ। ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕੋ ਗੱਲ ਕਹਾਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਵੱਡੀ ਲੈਗੇਸੀ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੀ, ਔਰ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਬੱਚੀ ਨੇ ਸੰਧੂ ਨੇ बुक लिखी है, बाकी ना दी सिस्टर्स ने फैमिली है, it is a very rich heritage which you have inherited and it must go on। ये heritage ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਅੱਜ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹੁਣੇ ਪੁਰੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਆਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਕਈ ਦਫਾ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਵਾਂ ਸਾਧ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਪਿਛੋਕੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ। ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਵਾਂ ਕਿ we must celebrate this legacy which you have got and we should make sure कि ये legacy ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹੁੰਚਾ ਸਕੀਏ ਅਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਈਏ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਪਨੀਰੀ ਕਈ ਦਫਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਔਖੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਨਾਰਾਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਯਾਰ ਇਹ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਤੁਰ ਪਏ ਨੇ, ਚੱਲਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ, ਇਹ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ, ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ, ਇਹ ਕੰਪਿਊਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਛੱਡਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਟੈਲੀਫੋਨ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਛੱਡਦੇ। ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਕਿ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਡਰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਨਾ, ਆਪਣੀ ਡਿਸਐਡਵਾਂਟੇਜ ਨੂੰ ਐਡਵਾਂਟੇਜ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਵਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਟਾਰਗੇਟ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਡਿਸਐਡਵਾਂਟੇਜ ਤੋਂ ਭੱਜੋਗੇ ਯੂ ਵਿਲ ਬੀ ਐਨ ਐਸਕੇਪਿਸਟ। ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਐਸਕੇਪਿਸਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ। ਉਹ ਫਿਲਮ 'ਚ ਗਾਣਾ ਸੀ ਨਾ, ਇਨਸਾਨ ਸੇ ਭਾਗੇ ਫਿਰਤੇ ਹੋ ਭਗਵਾਨ ਕੋ ਤੁਮ ਕਿਆ ਪਾਓਗੇ। ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਦੇ ਕੇ ਖਤਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਜ਼ਮਾਨੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਜ਼ਮਾਨੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਐਕਟਰੈਸ ਦੇਖੀ ਸੀ ਸਾਧਨਾ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਸ਼ਹੂਰ ਹੋਈ ਬਾਲੀਵੁੱਡ ਦੀ। ਉਹਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਡਿਸਐਡਵਾਂਟੇਜ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਉਹਦਾ ਮੱਥਾ ਬੜਾ ਚੌੜਾ ਸੀ। ਉਸਨੇ 4 ਵਾਰ ਅੱਗੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਧਨਾ ਕੱਟ ਮਸ਼ਹੂਰ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਦੁਨੀਆ। ਮੇਰੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਮੇਰੀਆਂ ਪੁਰਾਣੀਆਂ ਬੈਠੀਆਂ ਸਭ ਨੇ ਟਰਾਈ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਣਾ। ਤੇ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਇਸ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਡਿਸਐਡਵਾਂਟੇਜ ਨੂੰ ਐਡਵਾਂਟੇਜ 'ਚ ਕਨਵਰਟ ਕੀਤਾ, ਇਹ ਸਪਿਰਿਟ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਹਾਊ ਵੀ ਕਨਵਰਟ ਆਰ ਡਿਸਐਡਵਾਂਟੇਜਸ। ਹੁਣੇ ਪੁਰੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੱਸ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਟਰੱਕ, ਮੈਂ ਆਪ ਦੇਖ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਉਦੋਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਬੋਟਸ ਇਕੱਠੀਆਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਹੋਣਗੀਆਂ, ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਬੋਟ ਹੀ ਟੁੱਟ ਜਾਵੇ, ਟਰੱਕ ਵੀ ਗਿਆ, ਜੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੋੜੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਰੁੜ ਗਈ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਨਾਂ ਤੇ। ਮੈਂ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਵਾਂ ਕਿ ਯੈਸ ਯੂ ਮਸਟ ਹੈਵ ਕਰੇਜ, ਯੂ ਮਸਟ ਹੈਵ ਗਟਸ ਟੂ ਸਟੈਂਡ ਐਂਡ believe in you and then after believing you must act upon it, and he has acted it, so that is why we are all here। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ
मैं तय दिल नाल शुक्रगुजार हाँ भंडारी साहब का। सर वेरी वार्म वेलकम। जनाब गुरुद्वारा साहब भी बहुत एक्टिव ने और जीके के गुरुद्वारे च एजुकेशन इन्होंने बड़ी कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन रही है। सो भंडारी साहब तुहाडा मैं खैर मकदम करता, थैंक यू सो मच। एंड before I get to the scripted part, I think I'm going to exceed my brief and call Sardar Pritam Singh and his beautiful daughters on stage. I think they need to be acknowledged because Manjeet Singh ji, this is the legacy he's leaving with us now. Taking them forward is absolutely their prerogative and their individual decision. Can you give a big round of applause? Thank you. And sir, can you please be on stage because now we'll honor people who've come with the books. Manjeet Singh ji, Tulochan Singh ji, Puri Sahab, honorable diplomats from the Nepalese embassy. So Puri Sahib, this is a part of history that we're not taking home, but we're also a part of it today by being in this event. Can you give a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? And a big round of applause for Kiran. Although I don't think you did any favor, but your efforts have really made some history today. So a big round of applause for Kiran and each individual on the stage. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. You know, as much as philanthropy has been a way of life for Sardar Pritam Singh and his family members, GBTC, that's an organization which works for the underprivileged children in rural India and keeping the tradition and the value and the precedents alive created by Sadda Khirda Punjab. All the proceeds of the books now and henceforth will go to this organization. And it's a pleasure that we have Devesh Mohan. We just found out that we both live in Noida. Good to see you. He's the co-founder of GBTC Trust. He's involved in building strategic partnerships with CSR partners, fundraising efforts and strategic direction for the non-profit. He's committed to the cause of educating children and has a vision to create 129 smart classes by 2025. My best wishes to you, sir. He works as a director with the UK-based software company, and he is a leadership and a sales coach and loves doing long-distance running. I guess that explains the fitness. Thank you so much for coming. And Sumitra Dubey, the esteemed project director of GBTC Trust, has played a pivotal role in conceptualizing the foundation of the trust. He diligently oversees 3 initiatives, leading a devoted team of 30 volunteer mentors. Wow, I love the term volunteer and mentors in the same breath. All united in serving over 1,500 students with a strong sense of purpose. That's amazing, 1,500 students. Congratulations to that. Sumitra's unwavering focus lies in expanding the project's reach, augmenting its impact, fostering fruitful collaborations, and skillfully resolving any challenges that arise. Now comes the best part. Furthermore, he's a recognized and a distinguished TEDx speaker, a seasoned resilience coach, and impassioned disability advocate dedicated to supporting visually impaired students. Thank you so much. With that, I invite Devesh to share some of his wisdom, experiences, and how long distance running helps achieve a stable mind.
Thank you so much, Lali, for the generous introduction, and good afternoon, good evening to all of you and the esteemed guests who are here, and for giving us an opportunity to talk about that what is Give Back to the Community Trust, GBTC Trust. So there has been a UNESCO report which talks about that India has a maximum rate of learning poverty. So you must be guessing that what is this learning poverty? So learning poverty is about that almost 50% of the children who are in the age of around 10 years have not achieved the minimum proficiency which is required in reading and mathematics. And that's something which is a very grim issue which we are facing as a country. And the whole issue got compounded when we had COVID, because most of the schools in the rural area, in rural India, closed. And even the ability of teaching online was a major issue. And that's where in 2021, there were 4 individuals who came together, did some brainstorming, and thought that what could be, and probably a Mango people response, Aam Aadmi's response, right? So what could be that as a response, and how these Mango people can really cater back to the society? And that's where the GBTC Trust was born, where we have Kirandeep Sandhu, Soumitra Dubey, and one of our another colleague, Ramesh, he's based out of Chennai, he couldn't come, and myself, we came together and built this GBTC Trust. So the whole vision of this trust is that how we can really make sure that we build and or we remove that educational gap which is there by really leveraging the technology and reaching out to the underserved kids, children who are there in rural India. And with that motto, with that motive, we started working on that. So as about the book, the chapter 5 of the book really talks about the education which Sardar Pritam Singh ji has, the changes with the education which he brought in Nepal. And that's really very inspiring for all of us, because that actually becomes one of the founding board for us, founding platform to really look onto that. He was extremely successful as a business in 1970s, but he didn't just halted on those laurels, but made sure that how he can really be part of changing the education landscape in Nepal, for specifically at the starting for the Indian community. And that's how the Indian school, Global Indian School, was founded in Nepal in 1978. And it started giving chance to provide a quality education for the Indian community and later to the Nepali students also. And that was a non-profit school which was there. So I think that really pushed us, that's something which we can also do, and similarly we started working on this trust in 2021. And it has grown considerably. Probably today we have almost 2,000 kids to whom we are actually touching, imparting education by providing the digital infrastructure. And we have already covered 16 schools out of the vision which we have, that by 2025 we need to cover 129 schools through which we can actually reach to 10,000 students. And in that way, we will start working and building up those digital infrastructure through which it becomes easy for these rural children from the government primary schools which are there, that they can actually get access to the best of the education. So we are looking at how we can really make technology as an equalizer for these underserved children who are there in these rural part of the country. So that's something which we are looking for, and we will continue to contribute, because we believe that we need to change, we need to transform, where it's not about learning poverty, but it's about learning prosperity. So that's something which we are looking to look forward, and we will run a video, and after that I will invite Soumitra to talk more about the Project Enabled Smart Class which we are running. So can you please run the video?
इंटेंशन बहुत सिंपल थी कि हमारे जो बच्चे हैं उनको हम एक टेक्नोलॉजिकल जो गैप इंडिया रूरल इंडिया में उस गैप को हम भर सकें।
In 21st century's education system, technology is an inseparable part and GBTC smart class is proving it true.
स्मार्ट क्लास से हमें बहुत फायदा मिला है और संपर्क ऐप से हमें मैथ के सवाल भी आसान लगने लगे। स्मार्ट टीवी से हमें ये लाभ हुआ कि बच्चे जो मतलब सीमित दायरे में पढ़ते थे उससे उनको मतलब एक विस्तृत दायरा मिला और उससे हमें पढ़ने में बहुत मदद मिली। हम लोगों ने स्मार्ट क्लास में सुधा चंद्रन के बारे में देखा। स्मार्ट क्लास में हमसे छत्ता और रॉकेट के बारे में सीखा। हमें स्मार्ट क्लास बहुत अच्छी लगती है।
So on one odd day, when the video of Sadda River was playing on the smart class, ma'am observed that Sushma is paying very attention to that video. Her face was emotionless, but when Sushma saw the boats that were floating on the river, the excitement was evident. She started to clap, she started to jump on her face. And it was like, you know, the amazement that was on her face, it was like everything is playing in front of her eyes. And after some time with hesitation, Sushma asked ma'am, is Sadda River so big? And that made ma'am realize that Sushma is seeing Sadda River first time in her life. Despite that river is only 8 kilometers from her village. So, like Sushma, there are many kids in our villages who are not able to go out of the physical boundary of the village. On the other hand, our smart class are providing exposure to the students like Sushma, so they can grow, become curious, and they have better engagement in the class. So now I will tell you very briefly about our smart classes, where what we are doing in these smart classes, technology meets education and dreams become realities. So in these smart classes we have done like the evolution process happened. We evolved this model in 3 stages. Stage number 1 was research, then pilot project, and finally the expansion. In August 2022, we have done a study. In that study, what we have done, we have a theme that smart class in rural India, promise and challenges. So we have contacted more than 24 districts, more than 100 teachers, and from their feedback, we prioritize the main challenges that are there with existing smart classes, and we converted those challenges in the opportunity for our project. We specifically try to design to how to overcome these challenges, and from there we created a perfect ecosystem in which a class can work properly. There are 2 main components of our smart classes. Number 1 is physical infrastructure. That means there is robust hardware with long durability, and very important, we all know the problem of rural India. There is security arrangement like security alarm and everything, so that it can be there for a long time. And the second is that is certain infrastructure. That is, system is there, process is there, expectations are there, and everyone is aware of those expectations. So with that, the system was ready. But system must be tried and tested. So
on last year, just November 2022, we started our pilot project. Kiran ma'am was there, and we launched with these smart classes in 5 schools. And it was very, very exciting that within 2 months, we were seeing that increased attendance. We were seeing that more innovation and creativity in the schools. The students are very much curious, and the dropout, reduced significantly. It was so exciting that we took this target of 159 schools of smart class. And after that, we went for expansion. So presently, as you have seen on the slide, we are having 16 smart classes in rural areas, and our target is 129. What we want to do that, what we want to achieve, we want to create global citizens for future. What we
which could be there. And before we conclude, I wanted to thank all our sponsors who have been there, particularly from the corporate side. Thank you to the Sebros Auto Engineering. They have been supporting for 3 smart classes. We have Congruent Technologies from Chennai. They have been supporting us for 8 smart classes. And then we have a few more individual sponsors who have been there. We have Mr. Shami Malik, Neeruji, Meenu Didi, and Dr. Simranjeet Singh, who have been supporting for 1 class. Dr. Isha, she's supporting for 1 class. Mr. Padam, supporting for 1 class. Then my parents, Gagi and Dr. K.B. Vashni, they are supporting for 1 class. And last but not least, Sardar Pritam Singh ji, he is also supporting 1 class. So all supporters, big or small, of GBTC, who have believed in the mission of educational prosperity, a warm thank you to you on behalf of our entire children who are getting benefited by this whole movement which we have tried to build up. Apart from that, I think there are a few more names which I wanted to take. RCAs, Satnalika Associates, who have been there making sure that we are complying to all the statutory requirements which are there from the Government of India. So thank you for that. Our volunteer teachers who are there, I don't know whether I could see them, but yes, we have here from Ayodhya, we have Anamika ma'am, Pankaj sir, and Santosh sir who has come. And apart from that, there are 30 more volunteer teachers who work with us tirelessly in a volunteering manner just to make sure that how they can really support these children to continue in their educational journey. And then last but not the least, we have some youth leaders also who have been associated with us at a very young age to make sure that they are part of this community, to make sure that they really are taking this whole thing forward. And for that, I'm just taking some names: Kumar Shubham, Arjun Kundan, Dhruv, Chesna Malik, Janvi Varsne, Divyansha Kirola, and Lakshita Korala, who have been associated with us for this whole journey. So thank you to all of them, and I wish all of you the best in the future. Thank you everyone for giving us an opportunity.
As we come close to the end of this book launch, book introduction, I take this opportunity to invite my sisters to give the closing note. And as my father's legacy has all been about philanthropy, I wanted to associate that with the foundation which I have founded, which is called Give Back to the Community. And as a result, I invited my team to be here. My father has always been into charity, and this book will continue to support charities, and every single penny that we earn from this book will be given to GBTC to educate underserved children in rural India. So we encourage you to spread the word, to support us, so that we together can empower more children. And bringing to the close, my sisters.
Hi, I'm Meenu. I'm the middle daughter. You know, when we were growing up, we really did not get to see our father much. He was always on the road and with a suitcase. But today, just sitting back there, now I understand. He was just not doing it for his children, but for everybody. I'm so proud today, Papa, to be your daughter. I wish and pray that we can spread the same name like you and be there for everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming and making it so special for him and for the full family.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, to each and everyone, to take out your special time and to come. It's overwhelming because my dad was always he wasn't sure if we were going to do this. He was never sure about Kiran writing the book. But let me tell you, all your presence, each one of you being here, make him so proud. And I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming and spending time of yours, a valuable time of yours. And thank you so much. Thank you for coming and joining us.
So with that, the celebration continues. We have refreshments for everyone. Thank you for being part of today's book introduction, Roads to the Valley, Sardar Pritam Singh's journey in Nepal. Thank you.